Society 13. Welcome to Prog-Watch, with your one and only host who is the most, Prog-Squatch.
Welcome back to Prog-Watch, episode 5. This week, I have Dave Luddig as my co-host once again.
It's good to be back, Tom. Thanks for asking me.
Thanks for being here, Dave. And the band this week is called Nine Stones Close, and they're from the UK. Now, actually, their name has a little bit of an interesting backstory. Dave, you looked it up.
Yeah, when you go to look up, when you're doing your research, as any good responsible journalist would do,
Yes.
when you actually punch it in, there's a place in Derbyshire, I guess it's in England, and it's actually called Nine Stones Close. It's a stone circle about 13 meters in diameter. Almost kind of reminded me of Stonehenge there.
Right.
The funny thing is only 4 stones of the 13 actually remain.
Yeah, I guess I found some reference that it says in like 1780 there were actually 6 of them visible, and it was thought at that point there were probably originally 9. So I guess the band kind of likes that, or maybe they're located nearby. I'm not certain. But this is basically very much a project of Adrian Jones, who had been kicking around in a few bands previous to this called Numb and Lie Big. And he was looking to do like a solo project, and he's pretty much doing all the guitar work and all the vocals on these albums. So in 2008, Jones got together a project which he was now calling Nine Stones Close, and recorded a CD which basically they just highlighted a couple of letters out of the band name, so it's kind of STLO, and I don't know if that means Saint Lo or...
You got me on it. I couldn't even begin to tell you what that means. The thing that I found interesting about Adrian is he actually left England and went to the Netherlands to do this solo project. And from what I understand, the music was just so different from what he was originally doing in some of the other bands.
Yeah, so the band does have once he developed it into a band proper, he has some connections to the Netherlands. But originally, he had some UK boys helping him out. Brendan Irie and Mark Atkinson. They were both from Riversea, and Mark also played in Mandala Band. And Neil Quarrel was also... I'm not sure if this was lined up for the first album or for the Traces album. But anyway, I think we're going to move on. We're going to start off by playing a track from the first album called Saint Lo, or STLO, however you want to call it, from 2008. This song is called Hospital Bubble. And once again, that was Hospital Bubble from the Nine Stones Close album, 2008, called STLO, St. Low, Street Low, I'm not sure.
It's probably the lengthiest song on the album. The album, really, really an interesting album, and I don't really actually think Hospital Bubble is indicative of what you're going to get when you buy it. Most of the pieces of music are, a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes long.
They're all linked together, kind of like as a whole thematic work.
It's all, very much so. And the guitar playing, you would swear it is David Gilmour playing. And ironically enough, one of Adrian's influence is Mr. Gilmour. The keyboards are used as more to create atmosphere. There's nothing that really stands out. It's primarily a guitar album with some searing leads. But those emotional leads that you've come to expect from Gilmour for you Pink Floyd fans out there.
Yeah, Jones is definitely a student of Gilmour. You can kind of tell. Yeah, a lot of their stuff on this album had like kind of a slow burn quality to it. It was pretty mellow and melancholic.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I also, which kind of disappointed me a little bit, because I would have loved to have heard some of these themes that he wrote, more developed.
Yeah, he only seemed to really get kicking, here and there. That's why I kind of picked this one, because it actually did eventually get kicking a little bit, and some of the other pieces were kind of slower and melancholic.
But as you'll hear on the next couple songs, they do expand on those themes into much lengthier songs that I personally find very, very enjoyable.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to move along then, since Dave gave us our perfect little lead-in. We're going to move on to the next album, which was called Traces. And at this point, it was definitely more of a band kind of situation. Like I mentioned, Brendan Irie and Mark Atkinson had joined, and Neil Quarrel. Traces was released in 2010. And the track that we're going to play from Traces is the title track called Traces.
If the lights go out, do I disappear? If no one hears me, do I disappear? If no one cares, do I disappear? In time, do we all just disappear? He said, don't let me die, but what could I do? Just empty words to hide a lie, no one more than I wanted to. A beer in the sunshine, the warmth on my skin, tight eyes closed, detached again. Offer running truth, the hand that hides the guilt and fear. Disconnected feelings, questions for my tears. A deceiving lie that offered no goodbyes. Knowing it was near the end, I said goodnight. Then in the morning I left, still powerless. Traces leaving traces is all we can do. Making our mark on the road. A notch on a tree, a spray paint on a skyscraper. Blood on the earth, wash away. Traces of me exist across time and place. A ghost of my face, misplaced. Immortal thoughts, immortal fears. Leaving only traces. won't feel a thing. Threats of far unravel to reveal the fabric of the seas. More mountain than something. More mountain than something.
All right, that was Traces from the album of the same name, 2010, Nine Stones Close.
Really, really good album. The music here, to me, is definitely shifting away from a Gilmour Pink Floyd type to its own sound. It's something that the thematic elements, like I said earlier, they're explored. They're given room to breathe and grow. And the middle three songs, Threads, Falling to Pieces, and Traces, I thought were the highlight of the album.
Yeah, they were all really strong cuts right there in the middle of the album.
In fact, when I first heard Falling to Pieces, when I did my notes on it and later went back and looked, I actually wrote in my notes that it sounds like it would be a commercially viable song. And you can go to YouTube. There is a video for it. So I strongly encourage you to go do that. Check it out.
Very cool. Traces, there was a sticker on the outside of the album that, I don't know if the band wrote it or the record company, but it said, "A journey through loss, growing up and getting older, letting things go and learning how to move on." And that's definitely the themes of the album. I mean,
approaching my mid-50s, I'm still finding that a little bit hard to do. Let go of some of my youth there.
Well, but yeah, this was a dark and melancholic album for sure. That might remind you again of Pink Floyd, a little bit Marillion maybe, and maybe some Porcupine Tree too.
But the music on it, like I say, Tony, the music that on here, whereas the first album seemed to be bits and pieces highlighting Adrian's strong guitar work, here the music was more complementary with each other. There weren't really I mean, there were some searing solos here and there, but like we have been talking a week or so ago about Steve Hackett's guitar being more complementary with Genesis rather than a lead. Right. And it seemed to me on this album, Adrian definitely took his guitar, and after the first one, we all knew how good he was with it, but in this one, he was making it more relevant to the song rather than showing what he could do with it.
Right. He seemed to be more about the guitar part being part of the composition,
exactly.
Not necessarily,
that's how I felt.
Here's the solo, here's me playing solo.
Exactly. And again, not to downplay his solo skills because they were outstanding.
Yeah,
again, his first album, brilliant. But if you're going to write songs, especially when you get into prog and you're going to have songs that are 5, 7, 10 minutes longer, you just can't have those solos all the time. And speaking of which, Tone, the last song on the album called Thicker Than Water, that comes in at 14 plus minutes.
Right. There were some longer cuts again for time concerns. We had to select some that we could do a few from all the albums. Although I'm kicking around the idea of revisiting some of these bands down the road. So if any of you would like to hear a second show devoted to a band, I'm thinking that a band like IQ I have coming up in a few weeks or months, that maybe a band like that, they go back so far, like to 1983, that I'm thinking of breaking it down, maybe, you know, last century, this century kind of thing.
When you have a catalog, when you have a catalog that rich.
Yeah, because 15 or 20 minutes worth of music, or 20, I guess we're playing about 20, 25 minutes worth of music.
You just can't have 3 songs.
No.
Representative of 30, like 40 years of music.
Even Big Train, they had we kind of just centered on the last few albums. I'm thinking possibly we'll revisit some of those bands down the road, but for right now,
so give us your thoughts.
Yeah.
Drop us a line and let us know. Let us know what you think.
So we're going to move on then. The last album by Nine Stones Close is called One Eye on the Sunrise. It was recorded just this past year, correct? 2014 release.
And speaking of lengthy songs, the song we're going to play from this is called Frozen Moment. It's a 13-minute piece, and right from the start, it's rocking out. Then it does quickly slow down. It actually reminded me of a little bit of Queen's Right, circa Operation Mindcrime.
Okay. I thought I might mention also at this point in the band's history, a couple new members kicked in. We had Peter Vink, who had played with Arion, Star One, and Finch. And Arion, I'm going to do a show on Arion. I already have approval. We're going to have that coming up one of these weeks. And Peter Van Horn, or Hoorn, Hoorn, also joined the band, and he was previously with Night Area, which is another great prog band from the Netherlands that maybe one of these days we'll be doing a show on them. Well, let's move on with the song then. It's called Frozen Moment from One Eye on the Sunrise by Nine Stones Close.
frozen moment. Living in black and white, dreaming in gray. How did it come to this? I can't feel it anymore. I can't feel it anymore. Like someone flipped a switch inside, and now I can see what I need to be. Dreaming in black and white, living in gray. I can't feel what I need to feel. How did I become this way? Things are gray, fade away. It felt like home. Just dust and insignificance, nothing more than this. Lost in our own magnificence, we go on like this. We go on like this.
Dreaming
All right, once again, that was Frozen Moment from One Eye on the Sunrise, the most recent Nine Stones Close album.
Yeah, the song, 13 plus minutes. Although when I was looking into Adrian's background, he didn't list Queensryche as an influence, but I could definitely hear Chris DeGarmo type of guitar in there in a couple places. Reminded me of a lot something I'd hear from when Queensryche was doing Operation Mindcrime. And when you look at Adrian's influences, you'll hear, and I'm sure Tony, you heard some of these influences too. Obviously, we already talked about Pink Floyd, Marillion.
Right.
But they've got other influences here. There's Black Sabbath, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, the Seattle sound from the early 90s. Zeppelin, of course, pretty much influenced everybody nowadays. Nine Inch Nails, King Crimson in there as well, too.
Okay.
And Tool was also listed.
All right, I like this track. It kicks a little more right off the bat, of course. The lyrical content was really, I mean, it's melancholic again. Yeah.
I've never paid much attention to lyrics, Tom, because growing up I get into Yes, and at 12 years old my simple mind could not comprehend a season which could call you from the depths of your disgrace. So I stopped paying attention to lyrics decades ago. But that's just me, of course. The album as an overall whole, it's like if you were a scout, a baseball player, or a baseball scout, and you're looking for a guy to grow. When you listen to the first album and then listen to this, it grows in the exact way you want it to. A lot of the labels nowadays don't give bands a chance to grow. This band really grew. I'm keeping all the 3 CDs that Tony gave me, and no ifs, ands, about that. The music is just, I mean, they had a style, or they had influences, and from those influences, they created their own identity and style.
Correct, and that's what we hear in a lot of these bands. They're obviously deriving from
of course,
classic prog acts, Pink Floyd, Yes, Beatles, or whatever. They all have their influences thrown in there. But the thing is, if they can, assimilate them all, kind of like mixing up all the different colors of silly putty, squishing it through the thing and having the multicolored spaghetti come out the other end.
They make it their own. And that's a sign of a good band. They can make it their own.
Right. But yeah, back to some of the lyrical content. It was some pretty deep stuff here. Dreaming in black and white and living in gray. Why did it come to this? I can't feel it anymore. I can't feel what I need to feel. How did I become this way? Fade to gray, fade away. It felt like home.
That's intense.
Yeah, it's deep.
That's intense.
And the music definitely is emphasizing some, there's very emotional playing on the album. And that's another thing that you mentioned, David Gilmour. That's one thing that I always said about David Gilmour. That guy can make a guitar cry. He is such a master of it. And Jones seems to have some of that knack himself, where, I've always admired players that could convey emotion through the notes they're playing and just the way they're playing. And this guy can, and Gilmour's a master of it, but this guy is also, Adrian Jones, really good at it
It's
too.
like when I was here, we were doing Hagen, I was telling you then, they knew when not to play, because when not to play is just as important as when to play. And Adrian's doing it, like you said, Tony, he's doing a really great job. And to clarify earlier, it's not that I ignore lyrics. I eventually do get around to them. It's just that, like I said, when you grow up
first
with
impression,
the music, and when I'm listening to music, but the lyrics can make make the music that much more intense. Eventually, when I do get around to it, I do want to hear something that's very poetic, moving, something that without the music can stand alone on its own. And it sounds like, Tone, what you read just now, that stands alone on its own.
Right. And, this thing also climaxes in there's that whole, like, cacophony at the end. It really builds and builds and builds, and it's just slamming drums and, really excellent guitar work there at the end. And then on the album, you get the come down of the next track. The final track is really
very short. It's a very short piece, almost like a coda.
Right.
To wind everything up about that. Very impressive album, very impressive career to date. These are people you definitely want to keep your ears open for. Check out their website, of course, all the bands we're featuring do have the websites.
Correct.
And YouTube. As we were talking earlier, Falling to Pieces is a video. You can check them out on there. Like them on your Facebook page as well, too.
All right. And once again, if you have a hard time finding this stuff, go to the internet. If you're interested in buying it, go to the internet.
Which you're already on, so.
Right. Right. Yeah, if you're listening to this, you're already on the internet. So, but yeah, that's always your default place to find this kind of music, because it's not going to be the easiest thing to find. It's too good, you know.
The music is too good, and it does need to get out there, and hopefully
that's what we're trying to do
people
here,
like
right?
Tony doing this is getting them out there. It's a shame that there's such talent out there that a lot of people aren't aware of for whatever reason. It's not necessarily anybody's fault. But you want to continue to explore, continue to listen to the shows. Email Tony, let him know about bands that we haven't heard of.
Right.
We could feature them. This is something that we want to get the great arts out there that nobody knows about now. Let's get it out there. Let's turn the world on to some of the great stuff. This is what the world is all about, in my opinion. Music, good music. And this is outstanding music that you guys are hearing. So drop us a line. Let us know what's going on.
Right. And if you want to contact us, you can do it on Facebook. We have a Prog-Watch, and the Prog-Squatch, my alter ego, has his own Facebook page as well. Or you can email me directly at bigsquatch@verizon.net. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for this week. Once again, I want to thank my co-host Dave for doing his homework, checking out the tracks,
again,
doing all the research.
It's an honor to have you ask me to do this. It really is.
Well, you're a good co-host, Dave, and I appreciate your efforts. So until next time, I guess we're going to sign off and keep progging, I guess.
Have a good one, folks.